Hey guys, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Nitro. Well, by request through Leviathan Engineering, here is the Infinity Station up in space right now. I launched the transfer stage up here first. Had to fix some structural integrity issues here with these docking ports. Actually, the clampetron connector thing that I had in there was actually causing structural failure for some reason. It wanted to make the whole craft spin out of control, so that was a little odd, but I did fix that here by putting these struts here, and I redid the action group. So, of course, G opens all the ports all at once, just like that. So there we go. Go ahead and jettison our second part of our lift stage here for this craft. Activate our RCS system just so I can get this whole thing rotated. Alright. Start thrusting down and dock it to our transfer stage that I made for you. So what I would actually do is the same thing that I'm showing here in this video. Is I would launch up the transfer stage first, refuel it, and then launch up the actual station itself. Because the last part of the station lift stage has more than enough fuel to do all your orbital maneuvers and everything that you'll need to actually do an intercept and dock with the transfer stage. The transfer stage is actually the smaller part up on top of here. What I would do is launch the transfer stage up with my Leviathan lifter, and then instead of staging the gray tanks as they run out while you're lifting it up there, keep them attached and then refuel the entire thing. So that way you can get the maximum amount of efficiency out of this lifter stage. So that's just what I would do, and that's what I'm going to show here, so hopefully you will do the same. If not, it wouldn't really matter all that much. It'll just be faster for you to get to your destination. The transfer stage here, along with the station's ion power, has more than enough fuel to get to Jewel and Eeloo, so I wouldn't worry about that. I do want to align these ports properly with the nuclear engines here on the side, so that's what I'm gonna have to do once we get in a little closer. Let's see, gotta rotate this way. Now, just for demonstration purposes, right now I do have infinite RCS turned on. However, it wouldn't be necessary. I just didn't want to refuel the entire thing. Now the craft is actually behaving the way it should. The way I discovered it actually is I was going in for docking. I didn't discover the structural issue until I actually tried to dock the station with the transfer stage for the first time. So that's how I actually found it. It just wanted to spin wildly out of control for no reason. At first I thought it was the SAS system, but it turns out it was actually the clampetrons on the docking ports. So a little weird. But of course now that is solved because nothing is spinning wildly out of control. I did add another set of lights on the bottom of the pods, so you can see those activate here. So as each pod gets occupied with a Kerbal, if you ever have a Kerbal that gets out of a pod, what I would do is just turn off one of the lights, and then you know that that pod is vacant. If you're ever having the Kerbals in there go EVA for an attached lander or anything like that, that's just how I would do it, in case you don't remember what pod they get out of or something like that. Alright. I think that's about properly aligned here as far as rotation goes. It's actually too much light. I don't need that light right now. Oh, too far. Do want to try and get these aligned best I can. It looks like they're pretty good. I'm kind of happy with that. Alright. I know it drifted off a little bit here. That's okay. Ultimately, it won't matter. As long as those docking ports don't grind together, it should be fine. It looks like it's going to be nice and aligned there. I do want to get a slight rotation change. And stop. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. Ta-da! And it's docked together. Awesome. So there is one other minor change I think I'm going to make to it before I actually release the craft file that won't be in this video. And that is, I do want to add possibly emergency thruster system up here, because this is a 750 capacity fuel tank that's mounted on here. So I think what I'm going to do is actually put thrusters up on the top next to this SAS module. Just some really small engines, so in case all else fails and everything runs out of power and everything here, and you don't have any liquid fuel or anything like that left, and you run all out of Zen and gas for however you manage to accomplish that, you have 24,000 units of it. But just in case, you'll have some additional propulsion up there to help you along. Like anything that you dock together, you always want to make sure that you disable fuel crossfeed before continuing. Like that. Right click on that docking port to do so. Always remember that. I mean, I usually forget myself. And then you just want to make sure that you have control from here set up on the topmost port. And then if you hit 1, it deploys all the solar panels and the communications antennas in case you're using the communications mod. So it's equipped for that as well. It does take a little bit of while to deploy here. The reason I'm getting a lower frame rate now is because of this larger lift stage that's still attached to our transfer stage. As soon as that goes away, then we'll have plenty of power. Let's see. Before you depart, you do want to make sure that everything is staged properly. And I'm not entirely convinced it is, so I do want to double check this before firing these engines. Okay. Yeah. Alright, so it looks like everything is proper. Can't really see the fuel line. Alright, that fuel line's going in. Alright. Looks good. Then we got that one firing there. And we do want to make another. Come on. Make one more stage right below this and drag these other decouplers down. Come on. Just like that. So you don't have to do that, I just prefer to separate those there, just so I know. Because what that's actually going to do is it's going to separate these two engines from the central one. So when you run out of fuel on this larger transfer stage, it'll separate fuel. It'll separate these extra engines, and then you'll run on just the central engine with that 1440 fuel tank there in the center. So that's how that works. Don't really need solar panels out for traveling, but you know, it's up to you. So deactivate RCS system. Remember, before you run out of your transfer stage, if you ever want to undock that, you do have RCS there for additional thrust if you feel like using it. So that's the ship, and then of course if we want to go to Eeloo, just gotta find our Kerbal orbit, so we would need to go this way. Good, so it's right at Apoapsis. I don't even need a maneuver node. Let's see. Did we pass it? That's us right there, isn't it? Yeah. So we're good. I think I'm pointing retrograde. Yeah, I am. Alright, want to go the other way. Preferably. It's not gonna cooperate. There we go. It's not going to be as nimble with the rest of that lifter stage on here, so that's why it's giving me a little bit of trouble. Alrighty, looks like it's turning good. Here we go. There's a lot of movement going on here. I just want to hit time warp and kill it all. Come on. That is weird. I don't know why it's being so weird. There we go. Alright, headed to Eeloo. Yeah, overshot a little bit. That's okay. Alright, so our inclination burn is now done. I just gotta figure out, let's see, how to get to Eeloo. And it's just gonna have to be good enough. Alright. Yeah, so the reason this thing is constantly doing that is because this is so long. So all the SAS systems are kind of counteracting each other a little bit. If just this lifter stage gets the thing all the way to Eeloo, then I would recommend just using a lifter stage and then don't even have the additional transfer stage. But I guess you could potentially visit every planet in the entire solar system with this thing. It's got enough fuel to start from Eeloo and then head inward. Oh, come on. There we go. So I'll bring you back in for a small update here. Just got done with our first burn of the transfer up to Eeloo. Dropped 2 of the slack tank stages, and now we're about halfway done through this 3rd one here. And I got our intercept fine-tuned a little bit, so at 9.6 million is about as close as I can get it. And then once we get there, of course, I'm going to have to do my other burn to circularize and get an actual orbit around Eeloo. And I'll bring you back in for once I have achieved that. Alright, well here we are over at Eeloo. I actually have my encounter. Can't even see the planet though because we're a little far away from it. In terms of our apoapsis, it should be around 9 million, but that's okay. We only have 1 burn that we need to do here to get us into an orbit. Can't even see the planet. It's all the way down there. Let's see. Node in 1 hour. Whoa! Almost too much. Alright, that should be good. Let's see. Ah, there it is. There's Eeloo. Alright. So, I'm gonna find my maneuver node here, and after we have achieved an orbit, I'll bring you guys back in for the rest of the recording. Alright, well here we are finally at Eeloo. I got the orbit stabilized and everything. Used up the last of the fuel of the outer engines, and now I was down to just the central engine, which still has plenty of fuel left in it. In case you do want to use that. I did come in for a polar orbit, so I had to do multiple inclination burns around here to get about the closest thing I could get to an equatorial orbit without a moon or something to use as a frame of reference. But roughly 80,000 meter or 80,000 meter orbit around Eeloo there, so not too bad. Deployed all the antennas and everything. Again, if you don't want this engine, it's got its own little module on there, so you can deorbit it into Eeloo if you choose to, or keep it on there. It still has plenty of fuel left in it, so I think it's still useful. Let's see if I did actually want to aim towards the sun. Yeah, I think I'd have to aim outward. Yeah, well. There we go. Just remember at this distance the ion engines aren't going to get anywhere near the efficiency that they would if you were closer into the sun. So because we are out so far, I would probably recommend keeping that last part of that transfer stage docked there to that large docking port, because otherwise you're going to have to use 100% ion power to leave Eeloo. If you do intend to leave Eeloo. If you don't intend to leave Eeloo, then of course you don't need that. So just depends on what your mission parameters are for a station like this. Solved all the structural integrity issues, all the action groups and everything work for everything. It does have lights, of course, that light up everything here. And I didn't even activate the ion engines because we didn't need those, so I think it works pretty good. These are the new docking ports here with these struts again. And then just what I'm hitting here is G to activate landing gear, but we don't have landing gear, so I put that action group to all the docking ports. So there we go. There's your Eeloo station. Hope you like it, and have fun.